welcome back. Well, AI is supposed to make work easier and more efficient, isn't it? But some experts say that added tools, the demands, and the pressure to perform, they're just burning people out.
Yeah, our next guest says this sense of constant overwhelm and the feeling that you can never fully catch up isn't a technology problem, it's a leadership problem. And joining us now is leadership expert and workplace consultant Beth Ridley with ways that leaders can prevent the hidden cost of innovation.
It's a human cost, it sounds like.
Yeah, there is a human cost, and it's counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Because the promise of technology is going to make us more efficient and free up our time and improve our lives, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, it's kind of sad too. So how do you define AI burnout?
And to be fair, it's not just AI, but AI is kind of like the hot topic.
Yeah.
It's sort of this deluge of all this new technology that's entering the workplace. And it's one more thing for people to learn, a new tool that's adding on top of their work. In some cases, it's like monitoring their productivity, so they feel like constantly under surveillance, and that adds some stress as well. And there's this fear of like, is my job changing? Is it taking away the parts of my job that I actually really do enjoy? So that adds stress and anxiety as well.
Yeah.
So when you break it down further, what's really causing this burnout? Is it the AI or is it how we're using it then?
It's not the technology. I think it's more about how it's being introduced, right? And it's not being introduced in a way where there's this focus on learning a new skill, learning new tools, but without investing in like what humans need in order to adapt to change and still feel valued as humans. So when that is absent and it's only focused on the technology, people do get overwhelmed and they tune out.
Yeah, it's that pressure.
Who do you think is most affected by this?
Managers. I feel so sorry for managers. They're really cut in the middle.
Yeah.
So on one hand, they're expected to drive this technology through, but they're getting adapted to it as well, and they're also burned out. I see a lot of AI burnout with like frontline people, like customer service people, who have to use the technology to be more efficient. And when they're burned out, they have the added pressure of they always have to be on and polite in front of other people when they're not feeling good themselves.
Yeah.
And then the third group are young professionals that are just getting started in the workforce. You know, they're afraid to speak up. They don't know how to maybe like articulate when they're struggling or, you know, when they have needs, just because they're new and they don't have that confidence yet.
Yeah.
Do you think then there's broader implications for organizations, or is this really kind of this one little thing?
I mean, there's broader implications. I mean, burnout is already a pandemic, right? So this is just adding to it. And so burnout has all types of negative impacts on the workforce, from like turnover to absenteeism, disengagement, even like toxic bad behavior if people aren't feeling good. But specifically with technology, it also means people aren't embracing the new technology. So there's cost overruns when you have to spend more time to get the technology actually implemented, or it never actually gets fully adapted and embraced. And there's an expense to that as well, because you spend a lot on the technology and you don't get your return on investment.
Now people don't want to use it.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what leaders can do, because they probably feel some, sense of responsibility to use the technology, because it can sometimes be more efficient and it can inform us somewhat. So what are you suggesting?
It's going back to kind of like what's tried and true. And I know it's counterintuitive in this high-tech era, but go back to what humans need to feel good. And it's really three things. People need to feel that they're in a trusting environment where if they're kind of like struggling or they don't even understand the technology or they have questions, they can speak up. The other one is making sure people still feel connected to the essence of their job, right? So technology might change it, but ask people like, what do you hope this technology can do to make you feel more connected to the parts of your job that you really, really love? And then just celebrate small wins, right? I mean, not everything is going to go well with new tech adoption, but don't wait for like the whole thing to be fully integrated. Just reward people and acknowledge their effort in trying to adapt.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that last one that you said, the celebrate the progress, not just the productivity, because it's like oftentimes like you're only based on that productivity, and it's like, maybe the process of getting there has been enough to celebrate. So what is one simple like mind shift then that you think, leaders can adopt right now to make this flow a little bit better for their workers?
Every investment in technology, whether that be the tool or the training, also invest in human-centered leadership approaches, the timeless stuff. So, I think that's a great way to make sure we're balancing both.
Yeah.
And what's an example of that? The human stuff that they can also invest in to counterbalance it.
In your one-on-ones, ask, Molly, how is it going with this new technology? Do you have any questions? Do you have any feedback? In team meetings, get people to talk about what they like about it, what they don't like about it, create that safe environment. So I think things that people know intuitively that sometimes we just sort of forget because other things pile on, but just connecting with the individual and checking in how they're doing.
So
But
And
if you
pumpkin,
you gotta
pumpkin
do
spice
something about
lattes.
it.
And pumpkin spice lattes for you.
you can buy them pretty soon. Apparently.
gross.
Thank you, Beth. If you want to rewatch this segment or send it to someone you know, maybe the middle manager that you work with, visit our website, themorningblend.com.